own today. But what I was thinking is teaching you something that you could do with things that are lying around the house, seeing as though we're in isolation. We don't all have specialist equipment, so I was thinking of these pom-poms. Now I had these in the gallery in the window, and loads of people commented on how lovely they were. Now these are done out of actual tissue paper, but one thing I thought of is doing them out of normal tissues that you get from the packet or the box. So these are just normal tissues that I've actually taken apart. Now you can get double ply or triple ply, but what you need to do is very carefully tear each sheet apart from each other, so then you end up with very, very fine sheets, and put them together in a pile. So I've got 10 single ply sheets here, very, very thin. To start off making them, you need to obviously get them all as neat as you can, and then start to concertina, just like a fan, as you go. So that's one side, flip over, and you need to do this as neat as you possibly can, otherwise you'll end up with it a little bit skew-whiff when you get to the end. So keep going backwards and forwards, so you turn it into like a fan shape from when you were at school. And when you get to the end, you will have something a little bit like this. Okay, so squish it all down. Now what you need to do is tie some thread in the middle to be able to hold it all together. So I've got some thread. I'm using black because when you hang it up, it means you can't really see it. But I'm going to tie that there. This is a little bit fiddly, if I'm honest. And you need to just wrap it round and tie it into a knot and roughly find the middle. Now if you're using tissue paper or toilet roll like this, you'll find that when you pull it, it will start to gather a little bit in the middle, which is great for creating your pom-pom flower. So you might need somebody else to help you, but there we go. So pull it tight. Right, then what you do is that the edges, you can start to make a different shape. This one I've just snipped into to create like a carnation effect. And this one here, I've rounded off the edges, which I'll do now. So you need quite a sharp pair of scissors and just trim the edge into a round sort of shape. Do the same to the other side. Make sure all the folds and gathers are in together, and again just neaten it off by rounding off those edges. There we go, like that. So then you'll end up with this sort of shape. Now we need to fan out both sides, and you'll end up with something looking a little bit like this. And this is when the tricky bit starts. So there's 10 layers in here, and you need to start on one side and separate each of the layers. Now you need to do this very, very carefully because it will rip. On the first one, make sure that you pull it quite taut near where you've tied it. And what I suggest you do is make sure that you do it alternative sides, and it means that you will end up with quite a good evenness. So go on one side and then work on the other side and pull them all apart. And you'll need to do that on every single layer until you get something a little bit like this. So I've already separated one side and I've just got this last side to do. I just start to pull it together. Like I said, it is a little bit faffy and a little bit time consuming, but it is worth it because this is when you start to get the effects. So just a couple more to do. Separate this here if I can get my fingers in to do it. There we go. In fact, I've probably got a couple more that I could separate in there. There we go. I think this is probably the last one. And then once you've separated them all, make sure that you fluff it all up and find where you've hung. So when you tied it round, You should make sure that you left a little bit of excess and you're able to tie them up, and you'll end up with a little pom-pom flower like this one.